What should you be looking at when deciding whether or not a driver is competent to operate one of your vehicles? Hint: watch out for the things that make you uncomfortable.
So now knowing that you're responsible for the drivers that you put behind the wheel, and that liability is based exclusively on the preparations that you make in determining whether or not they're competent to be drivers, the next obvious question is, well, what is it that you should be looking at when deciding whether or not an individual is in fact competent to operate one of your vehicles? And the answer is you should perform an extremely exhaustive review, because that's exactly what the plaintiff's attorney is going to do. And everything that you missed and everything that you slipped up on and everything that you ignored, even though you kind of knew you shouldn't, is exactly what he's going to do when he's arguing to the jury that he deserves punitive damages for those two paralyzed teenagers who were injured when they ran into the driver driving the truck with your company's logo on it. There's a lot of different things that you need to ask for anyone, regardless of who they work for, long before you ever give them the keys to one of your vehicles. Obviously, you're going to want their safe stat score. You definitely need to make sure that we recommend the highest rating, but obviously, if they're marginal or above, they're permitted to be behind the wheel, but you definitely need to start with their safe stat score. You need to look at the criteria for employment that this group would use. What required road tests do they make of their drivers? What are their driver qualifications? Do they require any physical evaluations of their drivers? Do they perform criminal background checks? You want to follow up with what types of policies and procedures does the company have regarding its employees' conduct? How does it investigate accidents that its drivers are involved in? What types of drug and alcohol policies and testing procedures do they use? Do they have cell phone or texting policies? That's one that always gets that's one that companies are always kind of surprised to hear, but as someone who's seen lawsuits where the accident was caused because the driver was texting on his cell phone rather than paying attention to the road, let me tell you that if that's what the driver's doing, that's not going to play well with the jury. The company that you hire to supply you with drivers absolutely should have firm policies prohibiting cell phone use and texting use at any time when the vehicle's in motion. If you don't, you're just inviting a huge lawsuit with massive damages. You obviously, in every case when you put a driver behind the wheel, you're going to want to have a copy of that driver's motor vehicle report as well as their safety record. And it's important to know that it's not enough to simply ask for this information. You need to review it, because that's exactly what the plaintiff's attorney is going to be doing. When you're looking through these records, it's the things that make you uncomfortable that matter. You're not going to know if there's anything in there if you don't actually look at the records. The plaintiff's attorney is going to go over every single one of these records with a fine-tooth comb. And that thing that made you uncomfortable is exactly what he's looking for. The thing that you ignored or knew that you probably should have followed up on, but you were in a hurry and didn't. When he finds that, he just added another zero to his settlement offer.